Today we're going to go over exercises that you can do at home, at work, in your car. Some things you cannot do in your car, so just be careful and be safe when you do them. But they're all to help engage the body throughout the day. That way you don't have to worry about sitting down and doing an exercise over and over and over again and getting tired of it. Instead of doing these daily habits that kind of get ingrained to your daily routine, will make it so much more easier to let your body do the things naturally that it's supposed to do. So on the note, we're going to start first with something that I like to begin with, especially when I'm just trying to get into movement, especially in the early morning of my classes, is something called flossing your nerves. And so when you're flossing your nerves, you're just letting your body kind of wake up. So just tipping your wrist back and forth is going to stimulate the nerves to have better openings and exposes the nerves to the muscles and the outer parts of our body, which will help you coordinate better, will help you do resistance training a little bit better. So if you want to do one hand at a time, that's fine. That way you can focus on it, do two hands, and then get a little higher up. So you want to kind of create a figure eight with both hands back and forth. And there's all sorts of different ways to do flossing. You can do it with your lower body too. You can kind of see that I'm shifting my weight side to side too as I do it, but that's just to get the movement. I mean, you can go into heel raises and things like that as well. Now, as we get going, I'm going to have you just go into one arm. You're going to place it out to the side. If you can't go high, that's okay. Go low to the place that feels comfortable, and then just open the palm up and then close, okay? So I'm bending my wrist back and forth. Now, the other thing that I'm gonna add to it is when I open, I'm gonna turn my head down, okay? To look down at that toe, okay? Holding it there, and I'm gonna rise up, okay? Turn the wrist, open again and close, okay? You can imagine that it's just kind of creating this big opening in our nerves, even our muscles, okay? So then you can shake it out, go over to the other side, open the palm, bend your head down to look down to your toe or maybe your hip, and then close and open again, okay? So that's step number 2 is flossing, just getting your body warmed up. Then from there, this is another thing you can do. You can do it while you brush your teeth. You can do it while you're at your desk, while you stand up. It's getting up on those toes. When you do it, though, keep everything in line. You don't want to open up and hyperextend your ankles. You just want to go to that point where you can lift as high as you can, but not overdo it. And the other thing is, I'm also lifting my toes up to get the fronts of my tibialis to engage. A lot of people have a hard time lifting the toes up. That's such an essential movement to do because what do you have to do when you walk, right? So we're always lifting up our toes to do some kind of walking. So practicing that, strengthening those little bitty muscles in there is super important for us to do and maintain. And the other thing you can do throughout the day, walk on your toes. Play with that. Walk on your heels. Play with that a little bit. Change the way you move so you engage different muscles all throughout the day. All right, now when we get to our chair, if we get in the car, another way to kind of keep your body in motion is do simple wrist turns, okay? So this is easy to do in the car. You can also kind of rock your head side to side. Don't look up and down because you need to keep your eye on the road, but just something that you can add through your daily routine that'll get you moving, get your fingers moved and adjusted. The other thing I like to do on the steering wheel or even on the side or something is I'll put my fingertips on the ledge of the steering wheel or like on the side, and I'll just stretch those back a little bit. See how I stretch that? You can do that with your hand if you're just sitting at your workstation. Same kind of thing. It's opening up those nerves, loosening you up. All right, then from here, one of my favorite stretches to do when I'm sitting is the pigeon pose, but seated pigeon pose. So you're going to put your leg up. The biggest thing with this is number 1, making sure your hips aren't tilted, okay? So if you're tilted here, it's just telling me you got some really tight butt cheeks, okay? Excuse me for that, but you really want to kind of lower that down bit by bit. It'll take time to get this even, all right? And then from here, once you get to that point, you can lean forward, add a little bit more to this, and feel that stretch right in the hip joint. Super good for our back, really, really good for our glutes and our mobility in our legs. Okay, and then of course you want to switch sides. So if you're following along right now, feel free to hold, pause the video when you need to, and just get through all these stretches. Now, as we continue here, there's another stretch that I like to do, especially if you sit a lot, if you drive for hours and hours, getting onto the edge of your chair. Now, it's easy to do it with these chairs, not so much with chairs that have arm rests there. So if you can get a chair on handy that doesn't have it, that'd be ideal. But you're just going to step that front leg that's on the outside back to open up this hip flexor here. And you can kind of just hold here. Honestly, like sometimes when I'm at my desk, I'll just turn my chair so it's this way and work like this, okay? Really helps that hip flexor. You can imagine if you're sitting all day, this guy gets tight. So this might be pretty sensitive and tight, which means you might have to bend your knee a little bit, and that's okay. All right, so then same thing on the other side. Open up that hip flexor. And the other thing that you can add to it is bringing your arm up as well to get a full length all the way down. All right, so holding that stretch there, and you see I'm really just trying to lean into this hip rather than opening it up. I'm trying to close it down so I get a little deeper in there. All right, so then from this point, we're going to go into a little bit of hanging stretching. So all throughout the day, you want to be able to stand up every hour at least. I say 45 minutes. I set an alarm, 45 minutes goes by, okay, boop, I got to stand up. 45 minutes goes fast when you're not thinking about it. So let's just get that done. So set your alarm clock, 45 minutes. When you get up, get on the back side of your chair and simply just get nice and wide here. And I'm going to turn my position so you can see my whole body. And I'm just going to do side to side, like hip lunges, okay? So I'm just lengthening the insides of my legs. Honestly, this is probably one of the best stretches, or one of my favorite stretches to do, especially when I have to be in a class all day or what have you. If I'm watching a webinar or something, these are easy things that you can do while you watch. Okay, then come back to center. You're going to bring your feet behind the chair, and I actually like to walk my feet so I'm kind of leaning forward on it. Then I'm going to do a hip hinge and feel this hanging stretch here. If you have a chair like mine that's really kind of not very steady, then you can grab the edge and just let your body sink down from there, okay, and hold it. You can also get into a wide stance while you're out here and do those hip hinges again, back and forth, to just loosen it up. That's the whole idea. Okay, then from here, coming back, I mean, if you've been sitting for a long time, maybe you need to stretch out these quads. So just doing some butt kicks back and forth, and then you can kind of go into high knees just to kind of get your core engaged as well. Breathe here while you're taking your breaks throughout the day. All right, and then the last couple that I want to show you is also ones that you can do seated or standing. The seated cat-cow, you're just going to be having your hands on your lap, and this is really just to arch your back, feel your belly button fall inward, okay? Someone's punching you in the stomach, and then you're bringing it up and lifting up your chest, okay? Going down, exhale, inhale, back up. Oh, this feels so good, okay? Back down and back up. Nice. Okay, so you want to do that as many times as it feels good. I would say at least 5 or 6. And then from here, side twisting. As long as you don't have a back problem, you're going to twist, look behind your shoulder, hold it there, and then inhale, exhale, twist over to the other side. Okay, and you can kind of go back and forth depending on how tight you are or how your body feels. But try to do it, a few times, because one time is not enough. Also, it's not just a one and done, one day, okay, I'm going to be good the next day. No, you got to keep doing it day after day. That's why these are daily exercises to do to add to your routine. It's not an exercise if you think of exercise as, lifting heavy weights, okay? So these are very functional exercises. All right, and then the last thing that I just want to add is you can always do some other stretching that you're familiar with. So, for instance, I love to bring a dowel wherever I am at and a lacrosse ball to just loosen my tight muscles. So my shoulders tend to run pretty tight, If that's you, you can go side to side. As long as this doesn't cause you pain, you can lift it up, press it back. An easy thing to do too, as when you do this, is add that little twist in there to get your whole trunk moving. And then the last one that I wanted to show you before the end here is our lacrosse ball work. So this is a great thing to bring to work with you, because if you're feeling tight in your shoulders, or if you have tightness, let's say like, I don't know, your feet have tightness or your quad is burning, usually, as long as your doctor says that it's not, you know, if you don't have permission from your doctor to put stuff on your muscles, or like they're just concerned with orthopedics or what have you, then, you know, consult with them about lacrosse ball massage. But the idea here is to really, you know, get your body in its natural form, and then just start to massage it out. It takes time to loosen up these muscles. But if you think about it, if these muscles are really, really tight on you, and you're trying to add resistance and resistance training, and when you lift your arm up, it's like tight, or it hurts, or there's pain, there's probably something hindering that movement in here, which is getting you out of form. And so when you try to lift something, you're totally, you know, putting your joint in the wrong place, which is why it's painful. Okay, so take a time, like 1-2 minutes on each side. Don't go too long in one spot, because you don't want to end up bruising yourself, but just rub it around, maybe hold a tight spot for about 30 seconds. Move your head around with it. You can do this as on a foam roller as well. I have another video that has that kind of demo. But up here is really where we hold a lot of our stress, we hold a lot of our tension. So let's bring those tensions down. Another great spot is right in here in the chest, loosening up that muscle. And then another one is back here, right in our lat. We'll hold a lot of tension. This one is actually pretty tender for me. So take your time to just treat your body nicely. This guy is also great on the bottom of your foot, so I don't have my shoes off, but when you're at work, if you're able to take your shoes off, just if you're watching something or whatever, massage the bottom of your feet. I can't say it enough. Unless you have feet problem, don't do it if you have feet problem. But get into those nicks and crannies. It will hurt the first time you do it, but as you get better at it, man, I am so good at massaging the bottom of my feet now, because I've done it every single day for the last like couple months. So there you go. There are some exercises to put in your back pocket and use throughout the day. Feel free to use this video to help you navigate those exercises, and I'll be in touch soon. Have a good one. Talk soon.